Hi, everyone. Dr. Emily Letran, speaker and high performance coach. And I hope everybody had a great week running your business, dealing with challenges, putting out some fires, taking care of yourself. Uh, Today, I want to share a strategy on how to position yourself as an authority. As you all know, we run businesses. You could have a virtual business. Maybe you're doing virtual coaching. Maybe you're doing online courses. You could be running webinars. You could have a brick and mortar business. Like one of my business is dental office. So I have two dental practices, multi-specialty in Southern California. So it's tied to a location, and obviously, well, if you're in Southern California, it could be very competitive. We could have a an intersection, and there would be four dentists, one in each corner. So how do we, as entrepreneurs, business owners, position ourselves as an authority? There are a lot of things you can do, but I'm gonna talk about one specific thing today, and that is to write a book. And a lot of time when I talk to people, one type of person would say, "Yeah, I want to write a book and tell my story and my life story, etc., etc." And it's gonna be so long, right? I've been working on it. I've been adding things to it. Okay, that's one type of book. There's another type of book where you write with the intention of positioning yourself as an authority. So when you write that type of book, you already plan what part of your personal story you're going to share, whether or not it could be um, relevant to whoever is reading. And then the other part is you have that intention to teach certain things. So it may be your story that you're sharing, but it's only parts of it that is relevant to what you're teaching. So I'm going to talk about the second type of book. And to tell you the truth, I started out writing the first one where I was writing a little part of my story. I remember when I was writing that it was inspired from a mastermind group, and when I was writing it, my kids were asking me, "Mommy, are you dying?" Right? Because they think that only somebody who's dying would write a memoir, as they called it, and it was describing my journey growing up in Vietnam, growing up during the war, the Vietnam War, coming to the United States, escaping on a boat, living in a refugee camp, coming to the United States, going through challenges, and eventually have my dental practices. But you know what? That's only part of my journey, because then after the dental practices, there's another 28 years of business and ups and downs and challenges and all that. So that part wasn't in that particular book. So as I write new books, I would incorporate other parts of my story, my experience, my challenges, and the intention there is to share with people so people can identify, oh, you know what? She has the same challenge as me. Oh, I have that same kind of thing happening to me in my business. And then what is it that I'm sharing? Is it a strategies? Is it a course? Is it a seminar? Is it a coaching program that I'm going to be sharing? And that is the kind of like the solution, right? Or the ultimate product that I would want somebody, product or service that I want somebody to look at. So I want you to think, just close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to think of a book that really influenced your life. And I'm sure there are multiples. I'm just asking you to think of one. Now you can open your eyes, and I'm sure you know which book it is. But for me specifically, and I just happen to have these books around because I just did an interview on this. So it's the book Think and Grow Rich. That's reflection. Think and Grow Rich. And this book has been written a very, very, very long time ago. This is actually one of those special copy that has all these gold words and is bound a certain way. It's from the library of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And my son Austin, he got this book at a meeting at CEO Space, attending there, and it was given to him by Mr. Greg Reed, who works with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And I've had the privilege of visiting Napoleon Hill Library, be able to come and sit next to the typewriter that he used to to write Think and Grow Rich. And why am I saying all that? Because the book affects me so much that I wanted to learn more. You know, what's involved into what was involved in writing that book and why he shared those particular stories. And if you haven't read it, you definitely have to read it. It has a lot of stories of success, and it shares those challenges, and it shares what what kind of strategy, what kind of principle that one has in order to become successful. So, for example, one of them is a burning desire. Obviously, we can say, well, do you have a desire for success or do you have a goal? No, we're talking about a burning desire, something that you say, I want to do this, I need to do this, this is part of my life, this is the calling, etc., etc. So, I think for me, coaching, consulting, speaking, that's part of that burning desire. That's part of that calling because I already have my passion 28 years ago, going into dentistry and serving patients and growing a business that can support the community and take care of my family and all that. But this burning desire, this calling about being out there, putting out a message, creating impact, touching life, that's totally different for the dentistry part. But if I have that burning desire, I'm going to come up with all the actions. I'm going to dedicate the time to learn, and then I'm going to be out there putting out that message, right? So the book has so much impact in my life. I read it probably within the last 10 years. I can't remember exactly when, but I read it. I remember the stories. I know some of the people that he talked about in the book. Know like I know about them, Edison and Carnegie and all those individuals. So I know about them, and I'm reading stories about them. And you know what? I realized that I love to read those kind of stories. I remember growing up in Vietnam and borrowing a book about that thick, talking about the life of Madame Curie, who discovered, the X-ray. And I remember what I remember from that book, besides the fact that she's a Nobel Prize winner, was her challenges. Um, going through challenges, living in a small apartment, and um, trying to sustain herself while she's working on the discovery, all this great discovery to mankind. So those kind of stories make great impression on me, and that's probably why I love the book Think and Grow Rich. So the reason I give you that example is because the book's been around for a very, very long time. And why is it still around? Because it's relevant. The content, the stories are universal. It's relevant when it was written all the way until now. So, because it's about the success principles, when you write a book, sometimes it will be helpful to think, okay, I want to talk about these three things. Which one of them is more universal? Or let's say I want to talk about 10 things, but I'm going to pick five things that are more universal, that would be more relevant, that would probably stand the test of time, right? Um, Rather than just specifically to that one period. So, what kind of book can you write? There are different kinds, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So, this is one of the book that I wrote, and it's really for my prospects, my colleagues, and it's called No Nonsense Dentistry for Dental Peeps. So this book I co-wrote it with a friend, Dr. Steve Martner, but we share sarcastic stories, funny stories, different scenarios on how you would run the business of dentistry, and say a candid handbook for the light at heart. Meaning it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be sarcastic, it may or may not resonate with you, but you expect that. This is not a business book where we're going to outline these things and there's going to be these data and there's going to be these graphs. This is not, that book is not one of those books. But when you pick up the book and you read the book, the stories illustrate real life examples, and the strategies that are given are time tested, true strategies, because we both use those strategies. And then we have a couple of uh, uh, authors that are contributing authors in the book and help sponsor the book. So that was one book. And so it's about one specific industry. Again, the key there is to share some fun stories, some strategies, and really to get people to read it and say, hey, it looks like Dr. Emily knows a few things. Maybe I should reach out to her and have a chat with her. The second kind of book is a book that, like I mentioned earlier, you're teaching something specific. You're describing certain scenarios, you're telling certain stories, but you're getting to a specific goal, which is to get people to take action, maybe shift their mindset, maybe reach out to you, to talk to you and learn more from you, invite you for a presentation, for a keynote, etc. So this book is called The Modern Woman: To Have It All Without Sacrifice. And I actually co-wrote this book with another dentist out in Canada. This book, I outline certain expectations that we as women, business owners and entrepreneurs, set up for ourselves. And we set up for ourselves because we think that's what expected of us. We think that's what required of us. We think that society wants it to be that way. And my challenge to these women entrepreneurs and business owners and professionals is, do we have to do that or not? So I gave a couple of examples. You have to be that perfect mom that you're going to attend all of your kids' stuff, and you're going to help in all of your kids' project, right? You're going to go and watch all of your kids' ball games. You got to be that perfect daughter, right? You have to be there for your parents all the time. You cannot miss any family get-togethers. If your baby brother or your older sister have a challenge, and maybe they share with your parents and the parents share with you, now you got to be able to be in there and helping them, right? Because you're going to be the perfect daughter. Can you be the ultimate boss? Can you do, can you give your staff vacations, and then the next vacation has to outdo the last vacation, and then you need to do bonus system, and then you need to treat everybody like family, and you need to treat everybody equal. These things that we tend to think that we're supposed to do that, and we set it up for ourselves to follow those because we think that those are the expectations that we have to fulfill. And my challenge is, do you have to fulfill it? Because maybe you don't, right? If it's in alignment with who you want to be, then go ahead and do it. For example, I have some clients that they don't believe in a bonus system. For example, they just say, no, the staff come in and I'm going to pay them for the hours, and that's it. End of story. I could tell them the idea, what a bonus system may be able to do for them. Maybe it's going to motivate the staff. Maybe it could get them excited. Whatever it is that a bonus system can do and accomplish. But if that's not in alignment with what this doctor's belief in, she's not going to do it. Now, but he or she may be on Facebook and reading about all these groups and hearing that people are taking their staff here and there. And then now this person's trying to do that reluctantly, grudgingly, and is that healthy for this particular person? So that's the question. The question is, yes, everybody's doing X. Do I have to do X? Is it part of me? Is it in alignment with me? Or, I can just do what I'm already doing and do other things, find other ways to show my appreciation for my staff without doing a bonus. See, I tend to be a very what's the word, like generous person, because a lot of my friends told me this, and this has been forever since my undergrad. So for me, giving a bonus system and coming up with these fun uh, bonus trips, right? Once we get to a particular goal, it's part of me. That's who I am. So I still remember 2006. I had three offices at that time, and I told them, and the second office I had just bought after I sold another one. But anyway, I said, any of the office get to $1 million, I'm taking you guys to Hawaii. And within less than 24 months, we were hitting $1 million with one of the practice, and I was excited taking the staff to Hawaii. So what I did was I got everybody an ocean view room, and I got everybody a ticket to fly over there, and then they have to buy the ticket for their family. So some of them just go by themselves, some of them bring the husband, some of them bring husband, two kids, whatever it is, right? So I got them the ticket for themselves, for the one person, the one staff, the ocean view room, and a car rental. And did it, I mean, and it was, a pretty penny, right? Like what I think that's the expression. Spent quite a bit of money. Is it a trip that the staff talk about forever? Yes. Is it a trip that I'm proud to talk about? Yes. Why? Because I just did $1 million in one of my practice. So I tied that trip to that goal, and I'm excited about it. If you just go and ask somebody, hey, can you spend, let's just say 20,000, because I'm not going to talk about the real number, but it's somewhere up there. Can you spend 20,000 and take your staff to a trip? Most people will probably say no, right? But for them, it wasn't tied to a milestone. Like for me, it was tied to that milestone. So I set up my own goal. I fulfill my own expectation, and that has nothing to do with what the industry is saying. So in this book, I talk about that, right? You set up your own thing and you fulfill your own thing. And yes, the industry or the world may dictate other things, but do you have to do it or not? No. And then there's another type of book when you say, you know what, I don't think I can write a book. I don't want to write a book. It's too much. It's to be part of a compilation. So this is one that we have just released. It's called Doctor to Doctor: Success Strategies Elevating Your Life and Business. And this particular book is a compilation of different doctors, MD, DDS, chiropractor, etc., where we come together and we share success strategies. So when you're in this kind of a book, you only need to write a chapter, and the chapter could be 1,500 words, 3,000 words, whatever you want to be. But you're part of a group, so now you instantly are raised up to that level because you're part of a group of professionals, and you have multiple people talking about the book with you, and you get your message out and you create impact. The key is in that chapter, in that book, what do you talk about and what is the call to action? What are you going to invite people to do? Invite people to come talk to you, invite people to call you, etc., etc. So I hope that give you some idea of how to position yourself as an authority, because when you write a book, now you're an author, and that's going to separate you from a lot of other people, brick and mortar business owners, online business, virtual business, and everything, if you are also an author. And I will tell you right now, my very first book, which I wrote just to share my story, has gotten me onto multiple podcasts, top industry podcasts, invitation to write articles, able to contribute articles, etc., etc., etc. So think about that. Do try to be an authority in your industry. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can contact me from any of these broadcasts, make a comment. You can email me at emily@exceptionalleverage.com. And if you want to find out if you're a high performer, because a high performer is the one that is one step above, right? The high performer will outdo other people and achieve wonderful results. You can text the word action 2021 to 26786. You're going to get a high performance assessment. Do that assessment. It's going to tell you more about yourself than what you think. And it's not about money, because high performance is not about money or status exclusively. It's more than that. Take that assessment and see where you are. And you can always reach out to me. Like I said, you can book an interview. I'm sorry, not an interview. You can book a focus call with me on Calendly, calendly.com/ Coach Emily Letran. And I would love to have a chat with you. In the meantime, go out there, think about what you may be able to write, be an author. And if you want to be an author in my next compilation book of multiple authors, reach out to me. I would love to help you. Everybody, have a wonderful day.